Today we are going to be deep cleaning a Super Retro Trio 3 from Retrobit. This thing has been sitting in a bedroom with games in it, and we're going to open it up, take it apart, clean the insides, clean the outside shell, and we're also going to be cleaning these games. And I'm going to explain the difference between a US version of an N64 game and a N64 from Japan and how these work. So let's get started with the cleaning of these games, and then we're going to move on to this bad boy. So let's begin. So what do you need to clean these games? Well, you're going to need a game bit, one for the Nintendo and one for the Sega game. So yes, I have original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis on this side, and an N64 game up here that is opened up. I am not going to clean this one because it doesn't need to be cleaned. It's actually my personal collection. These three games are actually from my little sister's collection that's been sitting in that Super Retro Trio 3 for the last 2 years, unplayed. And I don't know what it's going to look like inside. I've already taken the screws out of that thing. But let me show you how they clean these games. So a little rubbing alcohol, a little Windex, a little bit of an eraser. But what you're supposed to do is go up and down like this. What you're not supposed to do is use sandpaper. Do you remember that joke when the Warrior 64 came out? They gave you sandpaper to clean your cartridges with. Yeah, don't do that. It's not gonna help. It's a total lie. Just clean them like this. You'll get all the dirt, debris. Only reason I'm doing this on video was because I got these out of the cartridge slots and they felt sticky and wet. And I will be testing these out before giving them back. But as you can see, it's supposed to look like this, but it looks like that. So definitely dirty. And all I'm doing right now is I've been using the Windex on these because I do not have rubbing alcohol like I wanted it to. But these pins actually don't look that bad. And I'm sure you guys can probably tell by the board what game this is. And if you guessed, that's right, it's Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. I don't know why they came out with the glob tops like this, but I'm assuming this is Mario and this side is Duck Hunt. But, you know, I could be wrong too. Could be wrong. We'll see. But yeah, this game looks pretty good. Looks like it's going to be good. One thing I would suggest is if you're using Windex and all that on here, is to grab another Q-tip, a clean one, like so, and just go back and forth and get all that excess liquid off of there. All that excess liquid. And the other thing I would suggest, and see with all that excess liquid, you got more dirtiness. You can do this as many times as you want. Use an eraser. Like I said, this one doesn't look so bad. And yes, you can do that. You can actually clean this part if you want. This part really doesn't matter too much because what's actually mattering is this pins on this side and this side. The main board isn't anything special. When you have it open like this, so you can take a look at all your capacitors and everything that's on the board and make sure they're good. If the game's not working, John Riggs does a good video about that stuff. So this one looks pretty good. Looks pretty done. So we're just gonna put it back in here. And it does slip in only one way, and one way only. So if you don't have it lined up right, it will not go in. Or if you're like me, I don't know what I'm doing here. I believe it was, that's just because I'm on camera. I know that's what it is. There we go. Just like that. Don't use the same Q-tip. Move on to the Super Nintendo. And since you've already seen how I did this one, what it's going to do is time lapse on this. And like I said, I'm doing the old Windex trick, and I do not really recommend it. I recommend the isopropyl rubbing alcohol. And here's this board. Can you guess what this is? Anybody? Just by the chips. If you say Super Mario All-Stars, you'd be absolutely right. Now the Sega game cartridge actually gets holded in by these two spots that actually have the screw spots on the other end. So you got these nice little holes in here. And if you guessed Echo the Dolphin, you'd be correct. So again, same process over and over and over again. And I'm going to speed this up again. So here we go. Alright guys, so there you go. So if you look at this one, you got one chip here, that's the main game. And then you got your capacitor here, or resistor. I can't remember if that's a capacitor or resistor, it's been a while. But yeah, that's what it looks like, guys. And as you can see, the chip does say Sega. So it's a legit chip. That's one way to know if you have a fake Sega game or not, but it also says Sega at number 94, so that would be probably the year. Made in USA. So this was a USA made game. Anyways, just to put this one back in, you literally take this, flip this upside down, and literally put it in like that. So I am going to close up these games, and we're going to do it on the screen together. So let's go. Alright, so we're going to take Sega. Now remember, each one of these is its own little bit. So we're going to take Sega, I'm going to put the cartridge on. I'm going to slip the two screws here. And don't lose the screws like me, because I'm clumsy, because I'm looking over a camera. Make sure they're lined up inside, because remember these ones go. Now I can't know if I have the bit on it or not. Let's find out. No, but you know what? We can actually do these bits by hand. So, like that. You don't actually need to torque them down too much. Okay. So, let me put it on the actual screwdriver. Maybe I'm a little off. And let's see what I can do. So, there we go. So you don't need to torque them down too much, but I guess the screwdriver does help a little bit. And remember, this is actually going towards the board on this one, so you do gotta be a little more careful on these than the Super Nintendo or the N64 or the Super Nintendo. So when it's down, it should be down like that, not like that, just to show a point of view. So let's take that back it out. And wait till I can hear the click. There it is. That's something else I'm going to show you guys here in a minute is you're waiting for a click. And then when you're done with it, it should look like the other screw. So there you go. Now it's back together. They're both in sync. They're both together. The cartridge looks flat. And I'm going to clean the outside of these cartridges too. Same idea. I'm just going to take an alcohol pad or one of these Windex pads here. We're just going to clean, but not with these dirty ones. We're going to do it with the clean ones. So there's Echo the Dolphin. Now with the Super Nintendo one, you got two screws as well. We're going to actually put it there, so they don't flop out. There's Super Mario right there, Super Mario All-Stars. Now these ones have little grab tabs as well. So on top, you got these little tabs, and on this side, you got the little other half. So you got to slide them in here, and I'm not used to doing this on camera, so excuse me. Slide them in like that. Turn it over, and I do not know who Adam Turner is, but anyways, it says MC is after that. And we take the little golden screws, and we turn it over. I don't know why I flipped it. One goes here. And these screws are tiny, so be careful. Okay? We're going to change the game pit to the Nintendo one. They are two different sizes. And once again, just listen for that click. There it is. And turn it so it gets tight. And again, do the same thing. And don't do that. Okay, let's move on to the Nintendo one now. The Super Nintendo's put together, the Sega one's put together. So same idea with this one. Also, you can do is check the cartridge slide itself to make sure nothing's dirty inside, because you don't want that. So like the Super Nintendo one, these ones have 2 holes in them as well. And so does this. So this one lines up here. No, I don't know this one very well, but I know it was missing a screw when I got it from my little sister. So we're gonna first put them in place. So I'm off camera. Okay. Now the trick of this one, you kind of have to hold it up there, because if you don't, it's gonna move. Little tabs. Other than that, it's pretty simple, straightforward. You know, you just keep tightening it down until it's tightened, and you don't have to over tighten it. Just tighten it until it clicks. You know. And if you notice what I did something wrong here. What did I do? I forgot to turn it the other way before it clicked. So now, how does it look on top? Looks like it's sewed up perfectly. So we're gonna do the same thing again. Now, if you notice, the Nintendo bits are exactly the same for all 3 systems. So if you have a Nintendo cart, a Super Nintendo cart, and a N64 cart, you have the exact same bit. Only one that changes is the Sega bit. It's a little bit bigger than the Nintendo ones. So again, you can clean this the exact same way, but you notice there's a shield on here. To get the shield off, you have to take off that screw and the little Phillips screws, and then this little shield comes off. It's a little what do they call those shields? They call them like the RF shield, pretty much. They're like an RF shield, like that you find in a original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and an N64. I don't know why they're in the cartridge though. But anyways, this one's pretty easy to put together. You literally just lay it on top. Well, actually, there's a little pinholes here, little clips here. Little clip, so it's kind of backwards than the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, so you clip it like that, down, and then you put your screws in. Here, again, if I can actually put my hand and get the screws in the holes correctly, here, and here. Now, what is the difference? So what is the difference between an N64 US and an N64 Japan? Well, I'm going to show that to you in 2 seconds, pretty much. So the difference is really the back end of the cartridge. And I know what you're saying, you got to be crazy, right? That's all it is the back end. Yeah, so if you take, I don't like how that screw looks. So if you take a US cartridge, see these little slots here? That's the lockout chip for that system. If you take the Japanese one, you can see that the lockout chips are here. It's not really a lockout chip, it was a safety thing. But so that's for US, that's for Japan. You could actually put this cartridge inside this cart. They fit automatically. But I will tell you, the Ocarina of Time game is a lot heavier feeling than the US one, Donkey Kong Racing. But yeah, so they're interchangeable. The cartridge slides and everything. Nothing special there. So if you want to modify your console, maybe I'll do a video on that too, but I've already modified my US copy or my US console to fit the Japanese games. So yeah, that's how you clean games properly. I used Windex. I really don't like using Windex, but I don't have any rubbing alcohol. There's other things you can buy for it as well, but what you need are the 2 game bits for sure, and a Phillips screwdriver if you're working on an N64 game. But this is also for the console, and so is these tweezers. So we're going to move on to the console next, and let me just warn you, this thing does not look good.